As the DNC in Chicago celebrates a second win after Joe Biden's arguably forced removal from the presidential contention and Kamala Harris's last-minute nomination alongside Tim Walz on her ticket, pro-Palestinian protesters demanding an immediate ceasefire and end to the genocide were attacked and arrested by Chicago PD members. This last third week of August in 2024, these moments were handled with the motivation of deterring any potential or serious demonstrations from interfering with the smooth sailing of bourgeois politics. Chicago PD has a history of excessive force, from police commanders torturing countless prisoners who were overwhelmingly black American men, to extremist and racist views circulating within the force, to several hundred instances of forcing a false confession. The American government is interested in a smooth election cycle, obviously threatened by not just the worsening material conditions in America and the slow, casual imperial collapse around us, but also the genocide in Palestine, as many working people and young people all around the world begin to wake up to the horrors and atrocities of the Zionist regime. Donald Trump's presidential campaign run 2015 through 2016 showcased a right-wing populist turn growing in American labor aristocratic consciousness. A fascist, racist, reactionary response to the lukewarm milquetoast neoliberal politics of Barack Obama went full swing, and Americans had a fresh taste of what their own full-fledged fascism could look like. But Trump's chaotic presidency and institutional degradation efforts left a mark on American conservative politics and the minds of the average Americans in general. The Republican media and political sphere coalesced around voter fervor for former President Donald Trump. The entities scratched each other's backs. For a time, it looked as though the right-wing bourgeois forces were actually aligned. From warhawk neoconservative business people to rural conspiracy-ridden alt-right fascists, American society seemed as if a capital F fascism would be arriving right around the corner. But a poorly handled global pandemic became the nail in the coffin for Trump's presidency, paving the way for what was obviously an embarrassing loss for Republicans in the 2020 presidential election, losing to quote-unquote sleepy Joe Biden. And not just a normal kind of losing either. No, this was losing pretty significantly by around 7 million votes. Joe Biden's presidency for the last 4 years represents the Democratic reaction to a dying empire, and we can see after his 4 years have been up that there is no effective difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden as presidents. The only difference is whether or not Americans choose to pay attention. That is why liberals truly hate Trump. They will claim they hate him for war or sexism or racism or bad economic policy, all valid reasons, mind you, but then when Joe Biden or Kamala Harris openly advocates for the same policy, liberals become dead silent. Over 200,000 new police officers were added under Biden, not Trump. Biden. The Kids in Cages program at the border run by ICE and other corrupt U.S. organizations was expanded under Biden, not reduced. The economy continued to worsen under Biden and Trump, for both of them, really. And perhaps only a few truly good wins for Biden under his legacy's belt, such as pulling out of Afghanistan, joining and supporting auto workers on strike, his nomination and appointment of Ketanji Brown Jackson for the Supreme Court, who is quickly becoming one of the most intelligent, advanced, progressive, open-minded Supreme Court justices the American people in the United States has ever had, and his student debt relief for a few thousand people, even if it was nowhere near enough. All of these things, right? All of these things matter, but after that, in all honesty, that's about it. And now, considering the other night, the DNC speech from Kamala Harris wasn't exactly a peacefaring speech of progressive politics and a change for America. A real change for America.
And America, we must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As Vice President, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas. As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world. And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
So, if a dialectical materialist perspective can show us there is no real concrete difference between the two candidates, we can reasonably conclude that yet again, quote, nothing will fundamentally change, unquote. Just like Biden said, and frankly, I believe Trump said something like that as well during his campaign run with donors as well. Could be wrong about that. Regardless, this country needs a real working class party. We need elected officials who will do the bidding and demands of their constituents. We need an organized body of people, collected and connected from varying sources, focused on mutually prosperous, exploitation-free relationships within our communities. And this will be done in the hands of working class people, not the DNC, not the RNC, not the Republicans or Democrats, not the Republicans or Democrats, not the Republican or Democratic parties, not the wealthy or the elites, not our previous generations, not our mentors or elders or parents, us. It's up to us, all of us, especially young people, to make this change. We don't need permission to fix our world, to fix our future, and we sure as hell don't need to ask for forgiveness just for doing the right thing. It's time for real change. And while things may seem dire, and while our lives are going to continue to get more difficult, the strength and promise of young people and overall working class people in this nation are promising a bright and radical future for this evil empire to hopefully end. A great destiny awaits all of humanity. It's just a matter of waking up Americans to finally choose and join the rest of its human counterparts. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my content. Like and subscribe if you can. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. Take care. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.